Yet.
All right, I unmute it. Good to roll.
Oh, y'all, what's up, Coach? Y'all can hear Coach. Hold on, let me see something in. Maybe I'm the one that can't hear him. Hold on. Let me switch up then.
Everything you must get mute. You don't want me to talk to the folks today?
You know that ain't it, Coach. I just I had my sound all messed up, Coach. My bad.
Dixie says she can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Coach. My bad. It was I had my sound messed up. My apologies, sir. We on our way, Coach. We on our way as we start HBCU Coaches Corner, Coach. As we always do, Coach. How you doing?
Good. Doing okay. From my practice. I had practice today, and with my elementary 4th and 5th grade team. We got a big game tomorrow.
Oh, y'all got a big game tomorrow, Coach?
Oh yeah, Coach. Be excited. I'm trying to win the city championship out for real.
Yeah. We say, Coach, you coming back and trying to win the city championship. Hey, Coach, you got kind of an echo in your background, Coach. I don't know if your audio on your laptop is turned. Yeah, I still hear you, Coach. Still hear you. Yeah, I hear it.
Let's see. All right, what about now?
It's gone, Coach.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Can you hear me good? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. Man, we got a special guest today, buddy.
Absolutely, Coach. I doing a little research on our special guest, Coach, and I can't wait to get her on to talk a little some women's basketball, Coach. This is I can't remember if women's basketball has been as popular as it is right now. It's really gained tremendous momentum due to the fascination, in my opinion, of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That rivalry will be extended into the WNBA next year, Coach. I watched the draft and I saw both of them get drafted. Caitlin Clark went number 1 to the Indiana Fever, and Angel Reese was drafted by the Chicago franchise. And I'm looking forward to seeing that unfold in the pro game.
Yeah, that makes our guest, our special guest, special. You know, she's a championship coach herself. She's a champion player, and she's a fashionist. She has her own style, and I tell you, and then she's married to another great man, Coach Thornton, who's been a defensive coordinator. Now he's an assistant coach at Alabama A&M. You know, so you got a wife and husband team there, and Alabama A&M should be grateful. They got 2 great people.
Yeah, that's good, Coach. Alabama A&M. So let me ask you this, Coach, and we'll ask questions. How long had Coach Thornton been with the football team?
He just got over there this year. You know, they end up firing a defensive coordinator, and their defensive staff, and he was able to get on with the new defense with Coach Maynard.
Oh, okay. And where was Coach Thornton coming from?
He was coming from Grambling State, where he was the defensive coordinator over there. You know, he got an extensive background. He's an Alabama State graduate. Played there, also coached there. He coached at Texas Southern. He's been a defensive coordinator at Grambling as well as Alcorn. And he's done, you know, his numbers are very good. And he's just waiting on his opportunity, man, to be a head football coach.
Well, that's awesome. And I know it was, well, in that case, with the football coach Thornton already being at Alabama A&M, and Coach Thornton having the pedigree and resume that she has, it seemed like it was a natural fit that she would move to Alabama A&M to ultimately join her husband there in Huntsville. So that, I mean, that was that seemed like a natural.
Well, you know, both of them have been working towards that. And, you know, like I said, he was the defense coordinator at Grambling, and she was the head women's basketball coach at Pambla. So they had been living apart, man. But that tells you, you know, something about those two individuals, you know, of being coaches and also, you know, trying to grow as a family. So my hat goes off to both of them. Thank God that they're able to work in the same place for, I don't know if it's the first time, but we'll find that information out once she gets on. You know, now Dawn Thornton, now she only ain't nothing. She's not only a great basketball coach, she's a fashionist. You know, you come to the game just to see what she gonna put on that week. You know, her and Tamika, you know, in Jackson State, man, you know, that's the swag, though. That's the swag. You know, that's all I do. I remember when Eddie Robinson wears shirt and tie, and you know, the gunslinger would wear his hat. And we had one coach, Coach Dorsey, he wore a hard hat, a steel hard hat. So, man, that's the pageantry and that's the fashion that we have at HBCUs is compared to none, Coach. We set the standard, you know, we set goals, and you know, it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
So you say the fashion is part of the pageantry in HBCU sports.
We doing it our way. We doing it our way.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach Cole. You know, since we're already talking women's basketball, and you're a SWAC historian, has there been any one coach impacted women's basketball the way on the HBCU level, the way that Tamika Reed has? Can you?
Man, Coach Walker at Alcorn State, though. She used to win it in and out. Dawn, she'll talk about her coach. That they won 5 SWAC championships. Coach Denise Taylor. Also, Coach Denise Taylor was a part of the first staff as a head coach in the WNBA. So, oh yeah, man, we've had great coaches come out of the SWAC, women coaches, especially in basketball. But, you know, again, I can't say enough about Jackie Walker, who used to be at Alcorn State.
Hey, Coach, we were texting back and forth. We were texting back and forth today, and Mr. Campbell, who is one of the contributors on the show, he mentioned that Cheney State and Louisiana Tech once played for a national championship. Coach, is Cheney State in the HBCU? Is it?
Yeah, they are. The one up in Pennsylvania.
Wow. Yeah. And they played for the national championship back in 1982.
A great coach went on. Yeah. They had a great coach going on, and she went on to do great things in women's basketball.
All right, Coach. Well, speaking of great coaches, with no further ado,
Coach, I'm freezing too.
Oh, you're freezing.
Okay.
I'm sure we can hear you just fine, Coach. You know how usually you unlock every now and then. With no further ado, I bring to you guys our special guest today, the current head coach at Alabama, women's head coach at Alabama A&M University, Coach Dawn Thornton. Coach Thornton, I want to thank you for joining us today. I know you're just getting your feet on the ground in your new position, and I want to thank you for joining us. And I want to also thank Coach Cole for hooking this interview up, Coach. First, I'd like to ask you, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, Coach. Coach, I did my homework on you, and you having you're very familiar with HBCU, your basketball, women's basketball. You're a name that everybody will recognize. I just want to ask you, what made you inspired you to become a college head coach, and particularly coach in HBCU basketball?
Well, when I was high school, I had two great um that inspired that guided me to a point where I felt trying to figure out who I'm becoming as a young girl. What does that look for Dawn? And my coach is just so impactful in my life. Everything that they stood made me resonate with what type of life I have, everything just clicked. And I knew from when I was in the my JV coach, various feet, Johnson of Cap were the biggest in my life.
Okay, Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach,
how you doing?
I'm good. Is mine okay?
Yeah, Coach, you're cutting out a little bit, Coach. Do you have your echo cancellation on your settings in the connection? Let me see if I can.
I got it on now.
All right, Coach.
Yeah, she sound good.
We
Coach.
good?
Yeah, Coach, I seen your press conference. And did you lay that outfit out, or did you, man, you came in there sharp, you came in there demanding, and you gave them everything to be excited about. And I look forward to, I know you could put how you carry yourself and how you look, and I know you love them young ladies and you want to set the presence. And man, Alabama A&M, man, it's I know you made an impact right now on Alabama A&M ladies basketball.
It's a beautiful, beautiful place. From the outside looking in, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I see they got a little something over here. You see the brand new arena, that the event center that we play in. I got to get used to saying we. I'm sorry, that we play in. It's just something that we have a new athletic director, we have a new president. Everything is forward moving and growing in Huntsville and thriving. And it was one of those things where he's like, let me see what they're working with over here. And the more that I learned and pulled the layers back of A&M, the more it just made me so excited. I wanted to give the Bulldog Nation a diva, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to let them know, like, we gonna do this the Bulldog way. We are, but we gonna put a little sprinkle of the diva in this mix a little bit too.
Coach, I was telling him, I'm a lot older than you. I've been around the SWAC a little longer, but I want to tell you, you and Tamika and the women basketball coaches, man, y'all bring back that old spirit of how the coaches used to carry themselves, and shirt and tie and suits on the sideline and hats, and it used to be entertaining, and it always started from the coach, man. I want to thank you guys, because right now you guys are also have made women basketball, man. Y'all taking this thing to another level. How you feel about all the excitement about women's basketball?
Women's basketball is on the move right now. And as we continue to push forward and really give our young women a voice of inclusion, we're really it's about to be a major shift. You're absolutely right. Having that tradition and that culture, being able to go back to, I remember when my college coach used to come in the locker room and we just wanted to see what she was going. And Denise Taylor come in that thing with a leopard suit, a leopard shirt, leopard knee-high boots. She try to draw a leopard on her eyelashes or something, like, and and it's just something that, if you know that your coach feels good about the way they walk in a room, you gonna feel good as a player because you know how your coach coming. So that's just a part of it. And I think that as we continue to evolve, we're able to express ourselves on the sidelines more. We're able to talk and communicate, and giving us a platform to have a voice. We're seeing and hearing more of that. And I think as you have more Black women that are in positive positions and in positions of empowerment, you're gonna continue to see the black females thrive in this women's basketball game, and that's what we really got to shift this movement to.
Yeah, done. My host, Trusty Rocky. He went to school on the other side. So but he don't fell in love with all this flavor. I've been giving him lately. Now Rocky, he done. Now, Denise Taylor, we went to school together. Me and her, we were partners, boy. Me and Denise go way back. And also Don, y'all athletic director. He's from where I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm well connected, and you're around some good people. Or I've been taught by Denise, of course. And Paul is a good man. He's gonna make sure that you have what you need. I was just curious, and I almost had to fight some folks, Don. I love your husband. It was like, well, it was a lateral move from Pine Bluff to Alabama A&M. I didn't see it that way because I know Pine Bluff can't give you a lot over there. And I thought the move was great. I thought it was a step up. I think that you can get some more things that you need to push you to that level. Because you've been there, and Jackson State been running the women's basketball. Now that you think you're over A&M, does that give you another edge and another step that you can take your program to win the SWAC?
Absolutely. I thought that I saw a few comments where people were saying lateral moves. And I have to remember, like, don't open your mouth and say nothing. Just don't open your mouth and say nothing. Because I be wanting to be like, you just make it make sense. People don't know that it was very, very, very challenging for 5 years being at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Although I am very thankful. Do I feel like I'll be on this coaching corner right now with this Alabama A&M shirt on? Absolutely not. Have I not gone to a UAPB? So I want to be very, very, very clear for the love and the respect that I have for our women's basketball program that we built at UAPB. However, in turning the page, Alabama A&M University is a place where every head coach in this conference would love to be able to be a part of. The resources, the town is thriving, the community support. It is 10,000 alums. That's an hour and a half from Huntsville, Alabama. Birmingham and surrounding areas. It's 10,000 alums. We had 2,000 students to enroll at Alabama A&M in the fall of 2023. Now you tell me what other SWAC school has 2,000 new incoming freshmen. That's not lateral anywhere you go. That lets you know that everything that means more dormitories, better options in the cafeteria. We have a lot of stuff that I ain't even gonna share everything that we got because I don't even want the haters to start. And I ain't gonna even lie to you. So just know if they think that it's lateral, let them continue to think that it's a lateral move. However, I know now that coming to Alabama A&M, as opposed to being at an Arkansas Pine Bluff, the playing field has now been. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you this, Coach. What are some of the unique challenges that you face at Alabama A&M that that you'll face trying to take them from where they are right now to the point to where they can compete for a SWAC championship?
I think the biggest challenge for any coach is making sure that resources are available for your kids to have everything that they need. Um, which we definitely have checked the box in all of those areas. AD Brian and President Williams is very, very um, adamant on letting you know that the resources are here for you to be successful and expect nothing less than success. Um, I think a challenge that you'll face as a coach is putting together a roster that can compete at a high level. And it took me at UAPB, it took me 3 years to really get the roster right. You know, it's hard. You know, you're trying to figure out what pieces need to be where they should be and where they should fall. But getting that roster right is something that I'm going to really focus on, because I'm gonna tell you, A&M has a standard of class, great character, and it ain't always about the talent. You know, they want to win, but they have a certain way that they want to look when they win, and we are going to uphold that standard. So just making sure we have the right pieces together that's gonna buy into the system. And I think that that's gonna be our biggest challenge. But other than that, everything else is in place to be successful.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that. And I know you the right person for that. And speaking from the football side, they've always either been from the middle up. They've never been at the bottom, and it's always been a class act at Alabama A&M. Each time I've faced them in the game of football. In the city, I agree with it's more engineers there. And I talked with Dawn when we talked last year,
Yeah.
and she was just I heard the frustration that you was one or two players. I don't know if it was recruiting keep you from there, the money, the place where Pine Bluff is, because it ain't the best place you want to bring a recruit. But I look forward to you and you battling the SWAC. And have you started your recruiting yet?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Hey, Coach, have you completed assembling your coaching staff?
Yes. So we are in a place where our staff is in place. We're just transitioning them to Huntsville, as well as myself. But just to kind of talk about recruiting, Johnny, recruiting is what I do. And I'm gonna be quite frank with you about that. If I can bring three 5 stars, 1 4-star, and 3 3-stars to Pine Bluff, Arkansas,
Yes.
please believe they're gonna roll up in Huntsville, Alabama. We have recruits on campus this week, coming in on Friday. So I'm sure Twitter gonna be jumping on Monday and Tuesday when we get commitments. So we just flying under the radar. Humbly speaking, I am very humble, those that don't know me. But humbly speaking, but we are really excited about the recruits and my staff that we have coming in. I was a little disappointed this year when we played Jackson. We played Jackson 3 times this year. The first time that we played Jackson, Zay sat out. She hurt her knee the night before. Didn't play Jackson with Zay the first time. We had some discipline issues that we had to handle and deal with. So the second time we played Jackson, I was without a starter and a 6-man. And then my second leading scorer tore her Achilles at Jackson the last 30 seconds of the game. So when we got ready to play Jackson in the tournament, we were without 3 pieces. The second leading scorer, which was first team all conference player, or second team all conference player, and then another starter and a 6-man off the bench. So I've never this season, which what I my best season at UAPB, we never played Jackson with my full entire the roster that beat the Arkansas Razorbacks did not play against Jackson State this year. And again, going back, talking about those resources, you know, there was a lot of games we didn't have a certified athletic trainer traveling with us. And we went through a transition where my assistant coach had to get in the weight room and do strength and conditioning with the kids along with the GA. And it's just been us a lot. And so being in a position now to where somebody asked me about UAPB players coming. Being in a position where you have those resources, there's no excuse that you can't get it done. And yes, we do have players from Alabama, from UAPB coming to Alabama. You know, the internet is gone. We're gonna break the internet this weekend. So, you know, everything that we do is
wow. And for our viewers, Jackson State has been the cream of the cream. And Tamika Reed, Coach Tamika Reed, which is no Don. I think she was on the staff when you was a player at Jackson State.
No, she came about 3 or 4 years after me. I graduated.
Okay. But y'all had some of the same teaching from Coach Taylor.
Yes.
They've been the cream of the crop, and they do a great job. But Don has took chicken and make it out. You know, she's done a great job at Pine Bluff, and I've been
lemons. We do lemons and lemonade here, Coach. We don't do. We don't use chicken poo here, Coach.
Bishop Campbell, are you with me?
Hey, I am here. Sorry for my tardiness.
Bishop is he go back as far as I go back in the SWAC. So he's a big basketball fan. We've been tweeting each other today about Caitlin Clark, but we'll get into that and ask you about your advice. But how you been, Coach?
Look, I'm here, Coach Thornton. I am a big fan of yours. I have a hair company. I think me and you have kind of teased back and forth. I said I'm gonna sponsor them, you know, because I know you're always looking amazing on that sideline and everything. But Coach, I'm a huge women's basketball fan, huge supporter, and I kind of wanted. I hope this question hasn't been asked, but as somebody that is one of the leaders of the game, there are certain inflection points. So you had 1982 when the first game with the NCAA championship. Then, of course, you had Cheryl Swoops in 93 that really showed a superstar. Then, of course, Connecticut made their run, and then you went to 96. Now we have this Caitlin Clark social media era. How is that going to help a person like you that has such a great personality, that, again, that has played the game at a high level, that is clear that your players love you? How are we going to be able to bring that energy that we see at the high level down to the SWAC and give it that little flavor that we have? How are we going to be able to use that to get that same energy that now everybody's aware of how great women's basketball is?
Well, let's talk about it. That's a great question. One thing that we do have to realize is that the NCAA just really play, I don't know if y'all play spades, but the NCAA just played their big joke on us. And the big joker was, now these kids can transfer again. Right. So we were good when they could transfer and get, to get cleared to transfer for the second time. Right. We were good with that. But when they were able to say that they can transfer for a third time and it doesn't matter, and then you can go and you don't have to sit, they did that to hurt us, to hurt our schools. Because if you look at it, to be honest with you, I have Zay Green on my roster, who started her career off at Tennessee, that went to Texas A&M and then end up being there with me at UAPB. Well, of course, she would have come over with me to Alabama A&M for the record. She would have come to A&M with me. However, I see the potential in her. This kid is a WNBA first round draft pick. And does she get a first round draft pick up if she's at an HBCU? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. And I don't care how I will stand 10 toes down on that. And I'm gonna tell you why. I've been on the phone with half of every WNBA head coach and assistant coach that exists and that's in the league. And that just doesn't happen for our kids. So for us as coaches, we have to be relatable. We have to be the coaches that say, I love you so much, where I really want what's best for you. And if you need to be in a situation to where you want to go and bet on yourself and do something different, you got to love them through that too. I had Maya Pete with me for 4 years. Nobody recruited Maya Pete out of high school, 0 offers. In 4 years, I let her go in the portal. I said, Maya, it's your time. Do what you do, baby girl. Baylor and Clemson both called me about Maya today. This girl has 0 offers out of high school. So our schools have given these athletes an opportunity to shine, to embrace their true self, their true being, for them to kind of get themselves back on track. However, Dawn Thornton is the type of coach who wants the best for her players. And if it's time for you to go and do something different, so that's my selling point as a coach. I love you enough so where you can help me get through whatever it is that we need to do together while we're here. But when it's your time to go, we're going to let you go ahead and move around because that's what's important. Star Jacobs is on my roster. She averaged 18 points, 15 rebounds a game at UTA. WAC Player of the Year, back-to-back in 2 different leagues. She could have also followed me to A&M. But I told Star, we ain't going to do that. She got an official visit at an SEC school tomorrow. So, we getting these type of athletes, but here's the truth. Are we going to be able to keep them? Are we going to be able to keep them? Because now they can transfer for the 3rd time. And that's the truth.
Let me ask you this, Coach Thornton. Do you say
I'll tell you one thing before you ask. Well, you gave me mixed feelings, but go ahead, Rocky.
No, I just want to ask, does she see a future where a SWAC female basketball player will be a first-round draft pick in the WNBA?
The only player that I would have said that would have had a chance to do that would have been Zay Green that I've seen. Because in talking to the Seattle Storm, Coach Pokey Chapman said to me, Zay's game exemplifies the transition in women's basketball as the game is being played. So now the game is played up and down, little trash talking. Kids are more athletic. They're playing off the bounce. They're able to be more than one-dimensional type players. And Zay Green's, she would have been one. Star Jacobs, she would have been another. But again, when you got a kid that's in the SEC that's averaging 14 and 6, or a girl in the SWAC that's averaging 17 and 9, they're going to think that there's better basketball in the SEC than they do at the HBCU. Now, let's see, if we want to talk about it, we can talk about it because that's the truth.
Now, well, I have to ask, is it better basketball in the SEC than in the SWAC?
I think that because you have more money and more resources, you can make a lot of things look better on that level.
You get 2 or 3 more players than now. How's that NIL? Does that hurt you as well?
Let me tell you, I know how much money they've offered my players that's on recruiting visits in SEC and ACC, Big 10, Big 12. They getting lump sums up front along with money every month, and then a lump sum basically saying, thank you for your service. And it's nowhere close to what any of our schools would be able to offer. It's nowhere close. A guy on the men's team told me that a school offered him, not the school, that he had an NIL deal set up for him, making $275,000. $275 in 1 year. How many of our HBCUs paying one coach one player $275?
Zero.
Hell, he making more than the coach. He making more than the coach.
Yeah. Now, this question was asked to me and we were talking about Nick Saban. He was talking about NILs in the collective, and I've talked to Rocky, and he's told me his opinion of it from a outside of coaching. How do you feel about all this NIL collection? I believe the players should get paid. Hands down, they should get paid. But I think it should be something across the board when it comes to the collection part of it. Now, the NIL, that's something totally different. To me, that's an individual player that's outstanding, and yeah, he should get paid what he works. But I think the collecting part of it, it should be some type of cap on that to pay these guys. So, as a coach, you're in the mix of it right now. I'm on the outside. How you feel about all this? What's going on?
Well, to be honest with you, I think from my viewpoint, I would say yes, it would make sense that that they should have a cap on it, right? Because look where we are. you know, I can't say we at the bottom of the totem pole, but you know, I mean, you think about it. Where do we stand? A lot of these women's basketball and men's basketball programs operational budget is more than our entire athletic department budget. You know, so it puts us in a situation to where we're gonna be at a disadvantage. And I think that it's natural to say that you would want to have a cap, right? But that doesn't help their league if you cap it. It makes it more difficult for them. So for Power Five schools, I think that they do a really good job of making sure that they have those things in place for their athletes, so they can continue to beat each other. But for me, who wants to be able to beat them on any given night, I would say, yeah, I would love to be able to cap it. But I know realistically that's not something that would ever be done.
Okay. Yeah, and I want you to add some on this part, because when I see it, here's some things that I see. What about the kid that don't develop, who loses his scholarship and now he don't go anywhere? And how you feel about the demands from a coach on a player now? It's like if you get on him too hard or her or whatever, be like, oh, well, I'm out of here. I'm not going to play here. Does that come in effect now today? Because, you know, back then, of course, the player couldn't transfer much. Of course, he wasn't getting no money. And so you had more control of it or her. How you feel now as a coach? Do you still have that discipline, or do you got, you know, and I know it's a different kid now, or how do you handle all that?
Well, I think you said it best. At the beginning of it is that when those kids on the Power 5 level aren't happy or aren't developing what their coach just thinks that they should be developing, those are the kids that end up on our roster. And so we're thankful for them, you know, because we love on them a little harder. They don't have the patience because they want some of those kids to come in right then and be ready. But we love on them a little harder. We support them a little bit more. We allow them to get through some things. You know, so that's a really valid point. However, it is a different generation of kids now. And social media, mental health, all of those things are really fluid in our community, especially in our HBCU communities. You know, back in the days when I couldn't call my mom and dad, tell my mom and dad that my coach cussed me out today. My parents wasn't going for it at all. And I would like to think that I became a better person behind that. I could understand the tough love because I knew that my coaches wanted the best from me. Can you coach the athlete, the 2024 athlete like that? Some of them you can, but a lot of them you can't. And I think that when they don't agree with things, it's easier for them to have a voice, to and have those people in their ears to tell them, you know what, you right, and you know you should leave, and you got handlers. I'm 41 years old. We didn't have handlers when we were growing up in high school and college, and these kids got handlers. You got to talk to the handler just to get to the kids. So it's just a different generation, and I think that you have to adjust and be more understanding and be more patient when you're dealing with them, unless you don't mind a high turnover every year of trying to rebuild the roster.
Now, Don, I'm so glad you with your husband, y'all together, man, because y'all make a great team. But I gotta ask, and I would love to see you coaching in the SEC, you know, or the Big Ten, because you deserve that, you know. But let me give you some numbers. 84%, or is it 94, Rocky, of the athletic directors in college are white, and I think 84% of them are white men. Is that right, Rocky?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's staggering. And in general, people usually choose people that they feel comfortable with, and really 8 out of 10 who they look like. I know you're up against all that, you know. How you feel about that, and do you want to go to the next level? Because you know the head coach of Florida A&M left Florida A&M and said he wanted to be a Power 5 head coach. Don't get upset, Campbell. I'm gonna let you talk. Florida A&M, so he left and said he wanted to be a Power 5 coach. But the problem is there's only 10 of them today, and I don't think it's ever been since I've been a part of Black college football of more than 10 head coaches. Period. in the last 50 years of these Power 5 schools. So he took a leap of faith. Where you are with that, and are you safe where you are? Do you look to move forward? And I'll go ahead and let you explain.
I'm gonna knock your socks off with this one. I did some homework too, and I didn't know you were gonna even ask me this. So listen to this. And I don't know how many people we got listening, but I'm gonna give you some facts because I'm swag. I'm swag through and through. You see, Jackson State alum, right?
Yeah,
that's my jersey. I played in that jersey right there. So listen, let me give you some facts. I've been in this conference or around SWAC basketball since 2010. I took my first job at Prairie View in 2010. The head women's basketball coach at Prairie View was Toyelle Wilson. Toyelle won 3 back-to-back SWAC championships, tournament, we talked about our regular season, tournament championships, while I was there with her. I came in the year after that, and we won 4 in a row. So after that, my husband was at Texas Southern. I was around that. My husband went to Alcorn. I was around that. My husband came from Alabama. He was at Alabama State. I just met him then. He was at Grambling. So I've been around almost every school in this conference. I've been around those programs. Since 2010, Johnny, there has only been 3 female head coaches to leave this conference in 15 years and get a job at a PWI. Let me name them. Cynthia Cooper. Does she get a pass? Maybe. She's Cynthia Cooper. Right? Okay. Yeah. Then you have Janetta Hayes that left Texas Southern and went to UMBC. Yeah. And then you have Raven Justice to leave Prairie View to go to Sam Houston. Jessica Kern left Mississippi Valley and went to Tennessee State, although they're still an HBCU in the OVC. But if you want to give her the pass, you give her the pass. But it was an HBCU. Outside of those 3 coaches, how do we as Black females that are so great, that do so well, why do we not get jobs? So you're saying to me that, do you want to be at an SEC school? Is that what you want? What's next? Do the SEC schools want to hire an HBCU coach? Because let's talk about the GOAT right now. There is no reason that Tamika Reed shouldn't have a job right now on a Power 5 level today, because she's done it all. She's done a hell of a job at my alma mater. But at the end of the day, why are PWIs not hiring our coaches? So that's why Willie Simmons had to leave FAMU to go get a position job at Duke. Is that why Toyelle Wilson left Prairie View A&M University in 2013 to take an assistant job at Baylor University just to be able to have an opportunity to go be the head women's basketball coach at SMU? Let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, they don't respect us the same. They don't. So I'm a product of this conference. So, Johnny, if the Lord says to me, and all the people who say that that's the lateral move that she wants to be, and she's SWAC, and they hire somebody, I'm SWAC. I love this conference. I got the underdog mentality because they always count us out. That's how they've always done us. And that's what we have to stand on, because it makes no sense that we don't get that same credit that our other counterparts get on so many other levels, Three coaches in 15 years. That's a problem.
Let me give you a stat. There's only been 3 coaches in football in 50 years. Deion Sanders, Colorado, Willie Jefferson, Wichita State, and my man from Alcorn State. And he's white. So really, it's just been 2 Black coaches that leave the SWAC and get a Division I football job.
But you can't count Deion.
Yeah.
You can't count Deion. And I'm sorry, you can't. I mean, you can use him for the stat line, but I mean, it's just 1.
Yeah. And he's white.
That's tough.
Lead the SWAC.
So I met a gentleman not too long ago that's currently on the Baylor staff, and he coached in HBCU basketball for a long time. And he was pretty successful in HBCU basketball. But in order to get compensated, properly for his family, he said he had to take an assistant job, I think, somewhere up in the Midwest, and then eventually he came back to Texas, where he's from, to be on the staff at Baylor. This guy's a great coach, has all the accolades to be a head coach, in my opinion, when you look at his pedigree and the success that Baylor has had, even since Kim Mulkey has went on. And I think coach has been a tremendous reason why they were successful, right? But even he isn't getting the opportunities, in my opinion, that he should get, considering how successful, Baylor has been the last 3 years, considering all the there's a lot of awful programs in women's basketball, to be perfectly honest with you. And they just and they don't consider our black men and women as viable candidates, even though they serve under the most successful coaches in the sport. In every other sport, I see where they take the white assistant and give him a job or her a job at a prominent program, but it doesn't seem to work like that for black coaches in the NCAA in college sports. I imagine this has to be terribly frustrating, and y'all have to do it for the love. I just hate that that's the situation and the circumstance, and what can be done to make things better, Coach?
Coach Campbell. Now, Cheney State played in the 1982 National Championship. Who was that head coach?
C. Vivian Stringer, one of the legends in the game, that actually left there and then went to Iowa. So let me just make this quick point. C. Vivian Stringer built Iowa. She took them to a Final Four. So people saying that Iowa just came out of nowhere, that's not true. C. Vivian Stringer, and also she mentored Lisa Bluter. So I just wanted to put that out there. She cleared that record up. Had to put that out there. Coach, I wanted to ask you a question, because I hear the frustration, and I'm the type of person that likes to talk solutions. So let me just tell you what I've seen. I have fundraised for Florida A&M. I have sponsored dance teams and schools and things like that. But here's what the NIL thing, my problem with it is. I think it's an arms race that we can't keep up. So I hear a lot of people saying, put the collectors together, let's do this. But I think that money is better served if you said, hey, Mr. Campbell, this is what my program needs as a whole, as far as facilities, as far as training tables and things like that. So do you think, because let's be honest, we cannot compete with the money at the SEC and lower mid majors. But if we have competent facilities, I think a person like you, I think that evens the player field. So let me ask you a question. What would you rather see? Would you rather have better facilities and money put to that, or money put to NIL?
Honestly, I think I would rather have better facilities than NIL money, because a lot of these kids don't care about the money. When Zay Green was making almost $1,500-$1,600 a month, clearing that a month when she was, and we talking about cost of living. We didn't even talk about the NIL money. She
Right.
came to Pine Bluff basically as a preferred walk-on, because she came late and I didn't even have scholarships left. So this girl didn't even get her financial aid refund check. So a lot of these kids really don't care about the money. But if the resources are there, if the facilities are there, and they have people in place that's going to be able to take care of the athletes and look after the athletes, that's going to go 10 times further than it will with that check, because that check is only going to be for so long. Because we can't compete with the SEC and the Power 5 schools anyway with their money. So the little bit of money that we will have to offer those kids, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 or whatever during that duration, like that's short term. But if they have the facilities and they have the resources to where you have people that can put them in place for a professional career, because here's the bigger thing: you can go to a Power 5 school, sit on the bench, and average 5 and 7, right? Because those are the athletes that we get a lot of times.
Right.
They averaging 2 points and 2 rebounds a game at Texas A&M before I got her. They come to our schools, don't worry about the check, and then they can average 17 and 15 and write their check for the next 10, 12 years.
Coach, hold on, Rocket. Let me just follow up with Coach. See, Coach, this is where I think the conversation needs to go, because I'm hearing these conversations, and to your point, I think it is not a long-term investment that can be sustained. But if you got these people that say, hey, Coach, I can give $40,000, $50,000, I just think that if I gave you $50,000 and you had a checklist of things to make the facilities better or make it a better experience for your players, to your point, I think that's where the advantage HBCU have. Because here's the thing, and again, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of Kill Monkeys. I'm just going to say that just for the sake of argument. I'm a fan of yours. There's no way that a person like Angel Reese, that you're not going to be able to connect with her because of who and what you are. When I saw Angel Reese say on a TV and she said, I was going through these things and people were coming at me. And I'm like, well, where's your coach? These are where your coach is going to incubate you. Some of the things that she got into, I tell you what, if Dawn Thornton was coaching her, you would say, hey, as a black woman, might not want to do that. As a black woman, let me explain to you, let me love on you, let me explain this. But here's the thing, if you give her the training table, the weight rooms, the dorms, the things that sustain you, I think that's where we even the playing field. And I think that's the better conversation that we need to have. And I'm really trying to get people to understand when I hear, oh, we got to do NIL. $500 is not going to do anything when somebody's giving you $5,000. But I tell you what, and Coach, you know this. Look, I'm from Jackson. And Coach, you understand this. If you had a clean dorm, somewhere to eat, your friends are there and everything, that is almost just as good as people going to Ole Miss. And I'm trying to tell people that. So that's the reason why I'm trying to kind of beat this drum for a coach like yourself, because I think we're going in the wrong direction on arms races that we're never going to win. Well, I think we empower you and give you what you need from a facility standpoint, which is long-term and long-lasting.
Yeah, we just have to educate ourselves a little bit more. I'm an alum, of course, of Jackson State, so excuse me. So I'm in a lot of these like group chats and stuff like that, and so I hear that from time to time. I just think that it just comes from a lack of knowledge. We really don't understand how to position ourselves so we can be the best. You know what I'm saying? Like having at A&M, I will honestly say that we have the most resources that I've ever been a part of. And, you know, we even have a sports psychologist and we have training tables and I'm sure Jackson Ben had it, you know, I'm sure all these Jackson State people, I'm sure they already had it. Right. But now when you have more of our schools to be able to have some of those same things, I think you're going to see a different product. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, you know? So you are exactly right. I think we have to just change the way we process things and the way we think, because we can't compete with what they have on the other side. But what we can sell is tradition. What we can sell is you could be coached by, loved by somebody who looks like your mom, somebody who's going to make sure that if you get into some trouble, we're going to try our best to keep you out of trouble and off the news, because when you go over there showing out over there, they not going to love you through all of that mess that you got going on. It's us that embraces the culture. It's us. And so I think we do have to have those resources to put around those type of athletes, because a lot of times we are getting second and third chance kids.
Yeah. One of the reasons, Don, I started the show was to produce and get people out there like yourself, because we got some great coaches and some some great programs. So where do we go from here? You know, we got to understand and tell our people it ain't them, it's us. You know, we got to support our own programs. You know, so if you talking to our viewers, you know, what would you say? Because you, like you say, you're an HBCU grad. I graduated from Texas Southern, and you know, we want to take our programs to other places, but it takes money. It takes money, you know, and it takes money from our alumni, you know, and we, you know, at some point we got to quit saying it's them, but it's us. And also on the coaching side of it, of giving us opportunities. Now, Caucasian coaches are actually taking over our non-revenue sports. You know, the bowling team, the volleyball team, the soccer team. And then when you're talking to these athletic directors, these black athletic directors, they're saying, well, I'm going to hire the best person. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. But why the best person can't look like you? Because if we don't, you know, they don't just move right over us, you know, because we're not getting the same kind of look on their side. as it would say.
I
So
had Cedric had an athletic. Cedric is my husband, for those who don't know, right? Cedric had an athletic director to tell him in his face while I was present, an athletic director in this conference, that
HBCU athletic director.
an HBCU athletic director told
Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Friday, April 19th, 2024. Number 1. Despite a strong and famous family bond, members of the Kennedy family met in Philadelphia Thursday afternoon to endorse the presidential candidacy, not of one of their own, Robert Kennedy Jr., but that of Joe Biden. Over a dozen of Bobby Jr.'s family, including sister Carrie, nephews, nieces, threw their support to the current president. Most of Kennedy's 10 siblings, the children of the late Senator Robert Kennedy and Ethel Kennedy, said they were there to support Joe Biden, who most closely represents the values of their late father. Number 2, soaring housing costs in U.S. cities are making it challenging for FBI agents to afford a living. A survey revealed most agents struggle to manage finances on their current salaries. The Agents Association is advocating for a $165 million pilot program in the 2025 budget to support agents with housing expenses. Number 3, as misinformation and myths about sexually transmitted diseases like herpes swirls online, it's important to know how it's transmitted and what puts you at risk. What is herpes? This common viral infection caused by 2 different but similar viruses, herpes simplex virus type 1 or HSV1 and herpes simplex virus 2, HSV2. Read more about the sexually transmitted disease in today's health update. Number 4, according to the New York Times, the Supreme Court has allowed a ban in Idaho to be enforced on gender-affirming treatment for minors. The Idaho law, passed by the state's Republican-controlled legislature, makes it a felony for doctors to provide transgender medical care for minors, including hormone treatment. This law bans puberty blockers, hormone-related therapy, and certain surgeries. Idaho doctors who prescribe these treatments to transgender youth could face up to 10 years in prison. Number 5, famed drummer and baker Ralph Roll is the owner of Soul Snacks Cookies, a black-owned cookie shop in the Bronx, New York. Roll has crafted recipes for delicious baked treats for nearly 30 years, and those treats have customers, including celebrities like television host Whoopi Goldberg and Robin Roberts raving about them. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Let's choose to be consistent, which turns into a habit and then a lifestyle. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money of the Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.